Hello everyone, welcome back to MORGBORG Tech. This is the retro unboxing of the Coolpad Rogue from Walmart Family Mobile, powered by T-Mobile. So this is a slightly old phone, but not as old as some of the other phones I've done retro unboxings of. This phone came out in 2015. Now, the reason I picked this up, it actually cost me about $32 after taxes and shipping, which, fun fact, is probably about as much as this would have cost me back in 2015. But this phone I've actually been wanting for a long time because when I started collecting phones, I remember seeing this thing on store shelves and just thinking that I wanted it. Of course, back in those days, I started collecting phones in 2016. I was just a kid with no money, obviously, so I couldn't ever get my hands on one of these. So now I'm finally able to. So anyway, Walmart Family Mobile, they still exist. They're kind of obscure though. At this time, they used T-Mobile phones and the T-Mobile network. These were sold at Walmart. And this Coolpad Rogue was a T-Mobile phone. I believe they also sold these under T-Mobile prepaid in pretty similar packaging. And the fun fact about Walmart Family Mobile is nowadays they don't use T-Mobile. You won't see this here on their current packaging. Instead, they use track phone devices, which I think they've been doing for a number of years now. So right here, unlimited talk, text, and web for a low price. The phone, Android, and if you can't tell, this is Lollipop, just to give you an idea of how old this phone is. Coolpad Rogue, 4G capable, 4-inch WVGA touchscreen, and a 2-megapixel camera. So let's take a look at the front here. The phone, the screen protector is kind of peeling. Again, Coolpad Rogue, 4G, touchscreen, a 1.1 gigahertz dual-core processor. Now, I hear that this phone is actually reasonably fast, even though this phone only has a dual-core processor, so I'm very interested to see how well this phone actually performs, because that is a pretty low-spec processor running Android Lollipop. 2-megapixel camera, email, texting, and web, pretty basic stuff for Android. Here it's talking about pricing. See brochure for pricing and plan details. So that must be a separate booklet. Talking about why you should do Family Mobile. And here it's talking about how you need to buy a starter kit, which includes your SIM card, in order to actually use Family Mobile service. And if I show you this at the top, don't forget you must purchase a separate starter kit for each phone to start your service. So with these Family Mobile devices, you would actually need to purchase the SIM card separately, and you will find out when I unbox this, this will not include a SIM card. And just another thing about this phone, back in the day, this was actually probably one of the cheapest ways to get your hands onto Android Lollipop, because a lot of budget phones at this time would still run KitKat, or maybe even older. And just to give you an idea of how old this phone is, date here, March 2016. This phone came out in September of 2015, but this specific phone was packaged in 2016. And I think they sold these for about a year. Again, Family Mobile, same specs that we already went over. Here, talking about one of their service packs, the Extras pack. Here are the contents of this box: the phone, battery, charger, USB cable, micro USB, health and safety guide, and a manual. Pretty standard stuff. And here is just some documentation. Copyright 2015, T-Mobile USA. So, yeah. Now, this packaging here, Same with the T-Mobile prepaid. My camera is getting out of focus here. These kind of sticky packaging can be pretty notorious for being very difficult to open. I should not need a knife for this, although in the case I do, I have one with me. So here goes. I will try my best to not destroy this package. Looks like I'm already failing. I'm going to grab my knife for this. Alright, here we go. So we have a knife here. Hopefully this will help me not destroy this thing. There we go. That actually did a wonderful job of preserving this packaging. My goal with these retro unboxings is to preserve everything that comes with these devices, including the packaging, so I do not want to destroy this if I can help it. So anyway, here is the inside of the packaging. Just lift this up here. This has the phone. Now this screen protector here has kind of a matte finish to it. I will be taking it off, although there are no markings on it. And you will notice that this is actually quite the chunky phone. Pretty thick for its type, and considering how new it is, being so thick, you wouldn't normally see this beyond the Android 2 era. So let's keep digging in here for the rest of the contents. Just a little cardboard piece. Here's the manual. Looks like it's in Spanish here. And here is the manual. Coolpad, live smart. That is their slogan. Just gives you some information on how to use this phone. Here is the charging cable, micro USB. Comes in this little baggie here. I should not need this. And here is the charger, which comes just loosely packed with the USB plug on there. And here is the battery, dated March 2nd, 2016. So let's get some of these contents out of the way so we can proceed. Alright, so here's the phone, here is the battery. Let's start by taking the back cover off of this phone. My camera does not want to focus. It is kind of dark in here. My apologies. So you might be able to tell right here, no SIM card, and obviously with the rest of the contents that I went over, there was no SIM card included, just to reaffirm what was on the box. Now let's get this battery open here. Feels kind of light, so hopefully it's not dead. It probably is. Let's get this back on here. Now again, this is a pretty chunky phone. Now with the battery in it, it is a little hefty too. So before I turn on the device, let's take off this screen protector here. which reveals the nice, smooth-looking plastic of this. That is definitely a plastic panel, no glass. Now, let's go over what is on the phone itself. Starting on the left here, here is the volume rocker, this kind of rough finish here. On the bottom is a microphone. On the right side is the port to pop off the back cover, the micro USB port, the power button. On the top is a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the back, I'm pretty sure this is a speaker. Here's another microphone. Here's the camera and the flash. Coolpad logo. On the front here, earpiece, and this is either a front-facing camera or a proximity sensor. For some reason, I remember this phone not having a front-facing camera, so that's why I say that. Here's the 4-inch screen. I hear that the screen on this phone is definitely not anything to brag about. It is mediocre at best. And what can you expect for a $30 phone from 2015? Here's the recent apps key, home key, and the back key. These are all soft keys here, so these are not physical. I'm sure they vibrate though. And let's turn on the phone. So this phone actually does turn on. Now you heard that T-Mobile startup sound. That is actually a really old startup sound. This might have actually been the very last phone to use that sound. Now, just to give you an idea of how old that sound is, it is the same one that plays on my Sony Ericsson TM506. That phone originally came out in 2008, I want to say. And what surprised me too is that they had newer T-Mobile startup sounds they could have used for this phone, but they just didn't. You can see battery's pretty low there. You can tell this is Lollipop again. So let's just continue here. Let's skip. I'm going to skip the Wi-Fi setup for now. I will go ahead and adjust the time here. All right, here we go. So let's proceed. I'm going to skip the name here, skip the screen lock. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck these. This is T-Mobile data collection. I'm going to uncheck this. And I must say, this is actually a pretty smooth phone. I mean, a little bit of lag there, but otherwise, pretty smooth so far. I know this is stock for now. This phone's interface is actually pretty close to stock Android. I am definitely impressed. So let's see how much storage is on this phone. So this must have either 2 or 4 gigabytes. And looks like 1.44 gigabytes are available to the user. That storage is probably part of why this phone was so cheap back in the day. And let's take a look at About Phone. Android 5.1.1. You can see here the Lollipop. And there we go. That is the Coolpad Rogue. So that is the retro unboxing of the Coolpad Rogue from Walmart Family Mobile. I will have some more retro unboxings coming soon, so stay tuned. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, peace.